Imagine waking up one morning, picking up your smartphone, and seeing that the YouTube and TikTok icons have simply vanished. No error messages, no announcements, no farewell posts. Just a void. For millions of people around the world, this isn't just a technical glitch. It's the end of an era. Today, we'll talk about what would happen if the two biggest video platforms disappeared forever. In the first few hours, chaos would erupt. Billions of people would lose access to their primary source of entertainment, information, and communication. Generation Z would lose its main drug, the endless feed of short videos. Bloggers, streamers, and experts would all, in one fell swoop, lose their work tools and their audience. It would be like all television channels and radio stations suddenly disappearing at once. Traffic would redirect to other platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, and Twitch. These services' servers would be pushed to their limits trying to handle the flood of new users and would likely fail. An internet panic would ensue. Imagine a world without memes, viral challenges, new smartphone reviews, or your favorite Let's Plays. Suddenly, in a single moment, this vast universe of content would collapse. Millions of creators who spent years building their channels and audiences would lose everything. Their business, their income, their connection with viewers, it would all be gone. For some, it's just entertainment. For others, it's their main source of income. And for many, it's a part of their identity, their voice in a vast digital world. The scale of the disaster would be enormous. The advertising revenue that flowed into YouTube and TikTok was in the tens of billions of dollars per year. Advertisers targeting a youth audience would lose their most effective platforms. Creators, many of whom earned millions, would find themselves in a financial hole. Some would move to Twitch, some to Patreon, and others would try to monetize through Telegram. But no one would be able to offer the same broad audience and extensive tools. This would lead to mass layoffs in advertising agencies and IT companies that developed apps and services for the platforms. The influencer economy, which grew thanks to these two giants, would be shattered. Some might say this would cleanse the market, but in reality, it would be a blow to an entire industry that fed millions of people. Content creators who are used to their work being a full-fledged business would be forced to look for new income sources and new ways to interact with their audience. New platforms would emerge, but would they be able to offer the same things that YouTube and TikTok did? The void wouldn't last forever. The market abhors a vacuum. New giants would begin to rise in the place of the old ones. And most likely, these would be players we already know, who could quickly adapt. Twitch, previously focused on streamers, could become the new main platform for long videos. Instagram and Facebook, which already have their own short video formats, Reels, could expand their functionality. New startups would also appear, trying to replicate TikTok's success by focusing on fast, viral content. But could anyone replicate that success? Unlikely. YouTube and TikTok aren't just video hosting sites. They are entire ecosystems with unique algorithms, monetization, and communities. New platforms would have to build everything from scratch, and that would take years. Perhaps we would see a decentralization of content. Instead of one massive platform that has everything, there would be many niche ones. Some people would watch videos on Twitch, some would read text blogs on Substack, some would listen to podcasts, and others would use local platforms. It would be a world where content becomes fragmented again. The influence of YouTube and TikTok on our culture is undeniable. They change language, memes, music, and fashion. Their disappearance would lead to profound cultural shifts. The speed of information spread would decrease, and viral trends would appear less frequently and more slowly. Instead of consuming ready-made content, people might start creating more of their own for a small circle of friends or family. Or, conversely, they might retreat offline, seeking live communication and real experiences. This could lead to both positive and negative consequences. On the one hand, we would lose a huge wealth of knowledge, entertainment, and opportunities for self-expression. But on the other hand, society might become less dependent on screens. People would spend more time outdoors, read books, and pursue hobbies not connected to the digital world. We would have more time for reflection and face-to-face communication. It would be a world without digital noise. YouTube and TikTok are not just apps. They are a reflection of our society, our desires and fears, and their disappearance would not leave an empty space. It would create a vacuum that would be filled with something new and, perhaps, completely unpredictable. What would that be? No one knows. But one thing is certain: this world would be changed forever.